Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to CJP UFC Bets. Make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications right now, especially if you like free bets, free picks, all of those good things right here on this channel, CJP UFC Bets. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, so follow us there, CJP UFC Bets. Tonight, we are breaking down UFC 283 Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill for the vacant light heavyweight championship of the world. But first, let's recap what happened last night on UFC Fight Night Vegas 67, Imavov versus Strickland. How'd you do last night, Jason?
I did pretty well. I went 8-3 on my picks. The only actual bet I missed was Soriano. He really let me down. I'm not gonna lie. It's okay. I had a winning night. There's only one missed. I'm good to go. Moving on to next week, the pay-per-view. It's gonna be a great card, great main event. Let's get into it. How'd you do? How'd you do last night?
I went 7-4 on my picks, 4-4 on my bets. My typology record now sits at 154 wins with 75 losses, a little bit over 67% correct.
Nice.
But yeah, 7-4 for the night. I did okay. I broke even for the night. Not too great, not too bad. Hopefully for the pay-per-view, I do better, man.
Yeah, I feel it. It's gonna be a good one.
So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, to subscribe. Once we reach 300 subscribers, as you already know, I'm giving away a $250 Visa gift card or Amazon gift card to one lucky winner, one lucky subscriber. Just make sure to check out our $250 gift card giveaway video for all of the contest rules. Make sure to follow the rules to enter the contest. So tonight, like I said, we're breaking down UFC 283 Teixeira versus Hill. 15 fights on the card. What a stacked card, man. How do you feel about this card?
And I'm just excited. UFC is back. We got the first pay-per-view of the year. We got 15 fights. It's going to be a long video, people, so strap in and enjoy the content.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a long video, so stick with us, especially for them picks. Now, let me show you guys the fights. All right. As you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, UFC 283 Teixeira versus Hill going down on Saturday, January 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for the prelims, 10 p.m. for the main card. 2 title fights. What about that second title fight, man? Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo for the fourth time, first time in UFC history. I cannot believe this is going down again.
Again, it's insane. It's going to be such a good fight like the other three were. It's like, how often do you get 4 of the same fight and be equally as excited for them every time? It just doesn't happen.
This fight is going to be insane, man. I cannot wait to break that down. Okay. Let's get into the first fight of the night. According to Topology, we're going with the Topology order. The first fight for UFC 283, we have Gregory Rodrigues versus Brunno Ferreira in the men's middleweight division. For Gregory Rodrigues, he's 13-4, 30 years old, 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. Then we have Brunno Ferreira. He's undefeated at 9-0. 30 years old, 5'10", and his reach is unavailable. All right. For Ferreira, he's got decent striking and he throws wild hooks with decent KO power. He's got solid takedowns and decent top control with good ground and pound. He throws wild kicks and knees at his opponents, hoping to knock him out. And not to mention, he does have sneaky submissions and always looking for the finish. For Gregory Rodrigues, he's got a good, clean striking style with solid power in his hands. He has a BJJ black belt, and he's pretty good on the ground. He has a perfect takedown defense at 100%, and he also has a very high volume with pretty decent takedowns. Not to mention, he's got a chin for days. He can take some damage, let me tell you. And he's got good cardio, and he is as tough as they come. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Gregory Rodrigues by knockout. Who do you have in this fight, bro?
Yeah, Gregory Rodrigues is going to look massive in there compared to Brunno. Gregory Rodrigues, 6'3" versus the 5'10" Brunno. Rodrigues is going to have a 3-inch reach advantage here as well. Rodrigues sitting at 75-inch reach and Brunno Ferreira at 72. Sorry, my notes just disappeared. Okay, and then yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. I'm gonna keep this one pretty short for you guys. Rodrigues is gonna be bigger. He's gonna be faster. He hits harder. He has better technique. He has wrestling and good BJJ in his back pocket if he needs it. Which in this fight, I don't even think he will. This is a super tough test for a UFC debut. I just don't think Ferreira is very good. He's kind of sloppy, and I think he gets knocked out in round 1. Gregory Rodrigues by first round KO is the play.
Well, there you go, folks. We're both on the same book right here for this fight. We have Gregory Rodrigues by knockout, so make sure to put him in your plays. And speaking of plays, we're going to reveal our dog of the card, our lock of the card, and our bets at the end of this video.
Be sure to stick around.
Let's move on up to the next fight on the card for UFC 283. Scheduled in the men's lightweight division, we have Thiago Moisés versus Melquizael Costa. Thiago Moisés, he's 16-6, 27 years old, 5'9", with a 70.5-inch reach. For Melquizael Costa, he's 19-5, 26 years old, 5'10", with a 73-inch reach. For Moisés, he's got very good grappling with a pretty solid ground game. He's always staying composed while fighting and maintains position while fighting and always going for submissions. He does have pretty decent technical striking with solid takedowns, and he also has a very nice leg kicks and a good gas tank to go with it. For Costa, he's got very solid striking with decent KO power. He does have pretty good ground game himself with decent submissions. He does have a solid chin and good cardio as well. Not to mention, he's making his UFC debut on a short notice. So that should take an effect in this fight. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Thiago Moisés, and I think he gets it inside the distance. Who you going for, bro?
Yeah, we got Costa. He's got a good stabbing front kick to the body. He's got solid power in both hands. He throws in combinations. He also has some pretty good clinch knees. He goes for some spinning attacks, which I'm generally just not a big fan of because most of the time you can get taken down off those. And I think Thiago will be able to take advantage of that in this fight. Costa, he does go for takedowns. And I just don't know if he wants to do that here against Thiago Moisés because he is a very credentialed black belt and he has a pretty active guard. So I don't know if the untested Costa wants to test his ground game here in his UFC debut against somebody like Moisés. Now, Costa, he doesn't have the best takedown defense, but he does have a good get-up game. Moisés, on the other hand, doesn't have the best wrestling. He gets his takedowns at a 36% clip. He's good at taking the back. And in this fight, I know I said Moisés doesn't have the best wrestling, but to be honest, I don't think he needs the best wrestling in order to get this fight to the ground because I just don't think Costa's very good. Thiago should be able to get him down when he wants. I think he might even be better on the feet. There's no way I'm betting against Thiago Moisés here. He is the UFC tested guy Costa's coming in a short notice for a UFC debut in this fight. Nah, Thiago Moisés all day.
How do you think he gets it done?
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I kind of think by sub.
All right. Yeah, that's why I said inside the distance,
Yeah.
just in case. You never know. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card scheduled on the prelims for UFC 283. For the men's bantamweight division, we have Daniel Marcos versus Saimon Oliveira. For Daniel Marcos, he's undefeated at 13-0, 29 years old, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. Then we have Saimon Oliveira, 18-4, 31 years old, 5'4", with a 66.9-inch reach. For Daniel Marcos, he's got pretty decent striking with sneaky KO power. He does have some nice combinations and mixes his strikes up pretty well with elbows and knees. He has a decent takedown defense and likes to come forward at his opponents with good ones and twos. He also has a solid amount of volume on the feet with good cardio. For Oliveira, he's got good and slick BJJ skills with a very strong ground game. He has very good grappling with pretty solid submissions to go with it, and he does have okay striking with pretty low volume on the feet. He also has decent takedowns and decent top control with good cardio, and he can grind out his opponents to a decision. My pick for this fight, I'm going with Daniel Marcos. I'm going with the dog, ladies and gentlemen, by decision. Who are you going for, bro?
Yeah, man. We got Marcos. He's got good boxing. He has high output. He has good leg kicks, a good takedown defense. Saimon Oliveira, he's decent on the feet. He has decent hands and kicks, but he just doesn't have the most power. He just doesn't look like he has power in any of his shots. Uh, seriously though, like I don't like this guy very much, to be honest. The harder shots are going to be coming from Marcos. Oliveira will go for some takedowns. He doesn't have the best wrestling, and he doesn't have good top control. And I think Marcos will be able to keep this fight on the feet. Marcos should have the speed advantage. Oliveira, one thing I did notice is Oliveira throws naked leg kicks, or just kicks in general, all the time, and I think Marcos will be able to counter over the top of those naked kicks. Um, if you couldn't tell by my breakdown right there, I'm going Daniel Marcos. I don't know how he's going to get it done. I'm going to go by decision. Daniel Marcos by decision, but he's dog number one here.
There you go, folks. For once again on the same page with the pick, Daniel Marcos. And I just want to let you guys know we do not go over each other's notes. We do not practice or anything like that. We go into this for the fun of it and let you guys know our best picks and our best bets. So,
and honestly, I switched up my tape study just a bit, and I don't look at lines when I'm doing tape study, so I'm picking it purely on my picks. I'm not letting the line judge my pick. And when I looked at this line, I couldn't believe Daniel Marcos was the dog. I really couldn't.
Right.
I was so happy. I was like, fuck yeah dude, let's go.
Speaking of dogs, ladies and gentlemen, once again, stay tuned for our dog of the card and our lock of the card at the end of the video, along with our bets. Make sure to subscribe, support the channel, CJP UFC Bets. Let's move on up to the next fight on the prelims for UFC 283, Teixeira versus Hill, scheduled in the men's bantamweight division. We have Luan Lacerda versus Cody Stamann. Luan Lacerda, he's 12-1, 30 years old, 5'7", with a 73-inch reach. For Cody Stamann, he's 20-5, 33 years old, 5'5", with a 64.5-inch reach. For Cody Stamann, he is a pretty well-rounded fighter with very solid wrestling and good takedowns. He has a decent takedown defense, and he also has pretty good technical striking, and he can set the pace in his fights with a decent amount of volume on the feet. He also has pretty good cardio, and he is pretty tough and durable. He has a lot of experience advantage in this fight, which should come into play here. For Lacerda, he's got very good grappling, with pretty decent striking. He throws all of his strikes, kicks, elbows, and knees with intent to hurt you and knock you out. He has a very good ground game, and he is always looking for the finish. His only problem is that he can definitely be reckless and sloppy at times, so he can lose his positions because of that. And that's why I'm going with Cody Stamann by decision here in this fight. What about you, man?
Yeah, Lacerda, he's okay on the feet. He has decent boxing. He has a good body kick. He has decent entries into his takedowns. And I think that's where he wants this fight is on the ground, seeing as 10 out of his 12 wins are by sub. He'll dive in on a leg and just pull you on top of him and start using his BJJ from there. He doesn't care if he gets the takedown. He'll just drag you down like those BJJ guys do. He's going up against a UFC veteran though in Cody Stamann. But I will say Cody has been subbed twice in his career so far. Cody has good wrestling. I just don't know if he'll want to use it in this fight, to be honest, because I can see this one being pretty similar to the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight, where Stamann just stuck his head right into a guillotine and got himself subbed. Now, on the feet, I think Cody has the speed advantage, but he's going to be at a 9-inch reach disadvantage. That's massive. I most likely won't have a bet in this fight, but you know what? I'm going with dog number 2,
Oh,
Lacerda,
here we
and you know
go.
what?
Here we go,
Lacerda
chasing the
by
dogs.
chasing him. Lacerda by sub. I have this feeling, man. I'm telling you, Cody's gonna stick his head in a guillotine again.
So you're going with Lacerda by submission then?
That's what I'm doing.
All right. That sounds good to me, man. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, scheduled on the prelims for UFC 283. In the men's welterweight division, we have Warlley Alves versus Nicolas Dalby. Warlley Alves, he's 14-5, 32 years old, 5'11", with a 72-inch reach. For Nicolas Dalby, he's 20-4, 38 years old, 5'11", with a 74.5-inch reach. For Warlley Alves, he is a BJJ black belt and he throws wild strikes where they tend to hurt you, but those strikes are to set up his takedowns, which are not that bad. His takedowns are pretty decent. He does have a very solid ground game with good submissions to go with it. He's got a pretty decent takedown defense, and he's always hunting for that knockout. He just throws everything with intent, like I mentioned, to finish his opponents. For Nicolas Dalby, he's got pretty good striking with a good amount of KO power himself. He does switch stances often and likes to move in and out of the pocket, and he likes to stay moving fast on the feet. He does have decent takedowns and a decent takedown defense, currently sitting at 65%. But he has a horrible takedown accuracy, so he definitely needs work in that department. This should be a close fight, and I do have a bet on this fight, which I will reveal at the end of the video. I got Nicolas Dalby by decision. Who do you have on this fight?
Yeah, Nicolas Dalby is willing to brawl. He'll get in the pocket and he'll let like a 6 to 8 punch combo go. He has strong leg kicks. He has a good chin. He's never been knocked out. And I think that comes into play in this fight because Warlley Alves just likes to throw those bombs. Dalby has decent takedown defense sitting at 65%. And if he gets taken down, the thing about Dalby is he can be held down. So that's something to watch out for here. He'll go for his own takedowns. He gets them at a 31% clip, so that's not very good. Warlley Alves has good takedown defense sitting at 78%. He also has some pretty good judo throws in his back pocket to potentially get Dalby down. He has nice elbows in the clinch. He has huge power in both hands, as well as powerful leg kicks. Honestly, I don't want to pick a side here. I know I have to, so I'm gonna go with Nicolas Dalby. I'm not gonna bet him. I'm just gonna straight up say that because I think this is gonna be close. I think the under is a good play here. I think somebody's gonna get finished eventually, and I lean towards Nicolas Dalby getting the finish.
Let's go. We're both on Nicolas Dalby. No bets though?
No bets on that one. I'm just gonna enjoy that fight.
All right, let's move on up to the next fight on the card. On the prelims, we're still on the prelims, folks. Like we mentioned, 15 fights on this card. Scheduled on the men's heavyweight division. I do not expect this fight to go the distance. We have Jailton Almeida versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. Jailton Almeida, he's 17-2, 31 years old, 6'3", with a 79-inch reach. Then we have Shamil Abdurakhimov, 20-7, 41 years old, 6'3", with a 76-inch reach. Excuse me there. For Jailton Almeida, this dude is very legit. He has very powerful hands with a huge amount of KO power. He's got very good grappling, solid wrestling. He's very relentless with his takedowns, and he has a very solid takedown accuracy, currently sitting at 75%. All of his wins are by stoppage, so you know the guy is a finisher with nonstop pressure. He also has pretty good submissions, and he has a killer instinct to finish fights. For Shamil, he has pretty good boxing with solid counter strikes. He's got good wrestling with decent takedowns, and he does throw big, heavy punches and hits hard. But he is chinny, and that is very worrisome here in this fight. And it's time to juice it up, ladies and gentlemen. Juice it up. My pick is Jailton Almeida inside the distance. Let's go. Who do you have, Jason?
Yeah, we're on the same page. I'll keep this one short as well. I think it's extremely straightforward. Jailton Almeida has a 100% finish rate. Shamil has been finished 6 out of 7 losses. He's also 41 years old. Jailton is 10 years younger at 31, and I think Jailton's going to kill him. He's averaging over 7 takedowns per 15 minutes, and as you said, gets him at a 75% clip. Jailton by first round. I don't know if it's going to be sub or KO. I'm personally going to take that first round prop, and I will be betting that.
Let's go.
And also, just like you said, juice it up. This is the juice it up portion of the card here. If you're looking for someone else to toss into your parlays just to juice it up just a little bit, toss Jailton in there. He's a lock.
I was gonna say that KO prop or the inside the distance or whatever is gonna be like -300 or 400 probably.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that just Jailton by first into the first round, you might get plus like 150 on it or something like that. I'll take that plus money on Jailton all day.
Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, on the prelim, scheduled in the men's lightweight division. And here's another fight that I do not expect to go the distance, folks.
Definitely
we have
not.
Terrance McKinney versus Ismael Bonfim, one of the Bonfim brothers making his debut here. For Terrance McKinney, he's 13-4, 28 years old, 5'10", with a 73.5-inch reach. Then we have Ismael Bonfim, 18-3, 27 years old, 5'8", with a 71.5-inch reach. This should be a close fight, ladies and gentlemen. This should be an exciting fight. Probably the fight of the prelims, fight of the night for the prelims.
Yeah, I agree.
For Terrance McKinney, he's got pretty solid striking, and he likes to fight at range with big, powerful punches and a good amount of KO power. He has good grappling with solid wrestling. He has pretty decent takedowns, and he has a perfect 100% takedown defense. He's got a solid amount of volume on the feet, but he is hittable, and he does slow down throughout the fight, and he can get cracked if not careful here. For Ismael Bonfim, he has a wild but decent striking style, and he's got a good amount of KO power himself. He's got a high amount of volume on the feet, and he throws everything with intent. He mixes up his strikes up well, and he's got decent takedowns and also has a perfect 100% takedown accuracy. Like I said, this should be a close, exciting fight. I was going back and forth here, but I'm going with Ismael Bonfim inside the distance. I think he gets it done here. What about you, man?
Yeah, Bonfim, he has very heavy leg kicks. Sorry, he has very heavy kicks to the body and legs. He has a nice left hook. He doesn't only headhunt, he works the body very well. Bonfim will definitely have the cardio advantage in this fight. Bonfim shows 100% takedown defense, but he has only faced one takedown attempt, and that was on the Contender Series. So take that with a grain of salt. McKinney has fast, powerful hands. He throws in combination. He has good clinch knees and elbows. He has good takedowns, and he gets them at a 50% clip. Now, the two things with McKinney that I don't like is his chin and his cardio. He got knocked out against Dober, which I don't hold against him. Dober hits like a truck, and he got rocked against Eric Gonzalez in his last fight. That's a bit concerning to me. And that's him getting rocked led to him getting a takedown, which allowed him to take the back and get the rear naked choke. Now, I know McKinney is capable of knocking out anyone, but honestly, in this fight, I kind of feel like it's either McKinney by sub or Bonfim by KO. Either way, best bet is the under. This fight is not going the distance, just like every single one of Terrance McKinney's fights. For the sake of the show, I'm gonna go with Terrance by sub. But
what?
Yeah, Terrance by sub. I'm not confident. I'm not actually gonna bet McKinney. I do have a bet on this fight. I will reveal it's not McKinney though.
And I do have a bet on this fight as well. Stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this video. Make sure to subscribe. CJP UFC Bets, giving you free picks, free bets, free content right here on this channel. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, which I'm kind of excited for. We have a legend on this fight scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division. We have Maurício Ihor versus Ihor Potieria. For Maurício Shogun Ihor, he's 27-13, 41 years old, 6'1", with a 76-inch reach. For Ihor Potieria, he's 18-3, 26 years old, 6'3", with a 75-inch reach. This should be an interesting fight. For Maurício Shogun Ihor, this dude is a certified legend of the sport, a former UFC light heavyweight champion. He's been in some wars, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who he is, then don't watch UFC. Let me tell you, because this guy is a legend. He is a little bit older and slower now, but he does have a BJJ black belt with solid takedowns, pretty decent submissions. He's got good striking with a pretty good ground game, and he can have a good amount of volume at times. But like I said, he is slower and older now. He can definitely take damage, so he is tough, even at 41 years of age. So don't sleep on the vet here. For Potieria, he's got pretty decent striking with a solid amount of power, very good striking, but he can be hittable at times. But because he keeps his hands very low when he fights. He has a pretty amount of good volume on the feet, and he's got a pretty good takedown defense as well. I don't know, man. I think Ihor Potieria gets it done here, and I think he gets it done inside the distance. What about you, man?
Yeah, same page. I know you said that you're a bit excited for this one, but to be completely honest, this is the fight I'm least looking forward to on this card. It's gonna be a fucking mess. Maurício, he's 41 years old. Potieria is going to be 14 years younger. Maurício, he wants to dart in and throw these wild combinations, and he also has a body kick. He's very low volume. Potieria has big power. He throws in combinations. He doesn't have clean striking, but he will have a big speed advantage in this fight against Maurício, because Maurício has slowed down a lot in these recent years. If Potieria can keep this fight standing, then I think he knocks Maurício out. He only shows a 33% takedown defense, which is worrisome. So I hope he's been working on that all camp. He needs to keep this fight on the feet. He also doesn't have good cardio like we've seen. If this fight gets out of the first round, which personally I don't think it does, to be honest, but if it does, then Maurício is extremely live, and you might want to keep an eye on that live line. But the actual prediction is going to be Potieria by first round KO. I think he gets the 41-year-old legend out of there. I think Maurício retires after this one.
Well, he did say this is his last fight.
He did say that. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
he's talking retirement.
Yeah.
Potieria first round KO. Hammer it.
That's
Hammer it.
why. That's why I couldn't believe the line when they first came out, bro. So stay tuned for that. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, ladies and gentlemen. We're still on the prelims, believe it or not. Scheduled in the women's featherweight division, we have Josiane Nunes versus Zara Fairn. For Josiane Nunes, she's 9-1, 29 years old, 5'2", with a 67-inch reach. For Zara Fairn, she's 6-4, 36 years old, 5'8", with a 73.2-inch reach. And here's the breakdown. For Nunes, she's got pretty good striking with a very solid power amount of volume on the feet. She throws very nice leg kicks and likes to bomb away at her opponent with big overhang lefts. She also has a pretty decent takedown defense, sitting at 70%, with solid cardio to go the distance. Pretty tough, pretty durable to put out. For Zara Fairn, she has decent technical striking with nice jabs, decent leg kicks. She's pretty long for this division with a 5-inch reach advantage in this fight. She also has pretty strong jabs with a good range, but offers almost nothing on the ground with an okay takedown defense at only 50%. I'm not betting this fight whatsoever. I'm staying away, but for the purpose of the show, I'm going with Josiane Nunes by decision. Who do you have on this fight?
Yeah, Josiane Nunes, she likes to come forward, get in your face, throw big shots in combination. She hits very hard, and if she gets you backed up against the fence, then she'll swarm you with as many punches as you can take. Zara Fairn will have the tail of the tape advantage here. She's 6 inches taller and has a 5-inch reach advantage. But let's not forget that Nunes recently went up against Bea Malecki, who had an even bigger tail of the tape advantage in that fight, and that didn't stop Nunes from beating her. Fairn has good, accurate punches, solid combinations. She just doesn't seem to have the most power. And I think that's what it's gonna come down to in this fight. I think Nunes gets the win, whether it's by knockout or decision. She'll be landing the harder and more damaging shots. So give me Nunes.
Yes, we both got Nunes on this fight. This should be a one-sided victory, in my opinion. So I don't blame the line there at minus 450.
I honestly think the line's a bit steep here. Minus 450. Like, I can see minus 300. But yeah, I think I'm staying away from this one.
Yeah, me too. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, which is scheduled to be the featured fight on the prelims for UFC 283, Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill. Scheduled in the men's welterweight division, we have Gabriel Bonfim versus Munir Laziz. The breakdown is Gabriel Bonfim, 13-0, 25 years old, 6'1", with a 72.5-inch reach. For Munir Laziz, 11-2, 35 years old, 6'1", with a 76-inch reach. This should be a close fight. For Laziz, he's got good striking with lots of power. He's got solid combinations, pretty good takedowns with good cardio. He's got a very solid chin with decent wrestling. Not to mention, he's got a high amount of volume on the feet and a pretty decent takedown defense, sitting at 71%. For Bonfim, he's got very solid striking with pretty good boxing and a high amount of volume on the feet as well. He's got good BJJ skills with good pressure and good solid takedowns. He has good top control when he gets the fight to the ground and works the position to get the submissions. Not to mention, he's got good cardio and he's a very high prospect to look out for in this division. And that's why I'm going for Gabriel Bonfim by decision. Who are you going for, bro?
Yeah, Gabriel Bonfim, he has good fast jab. He has a nice straight right hand and a nice left hook. He's got good leg kicks. And if you just looked at the Contender Series fight, you would think that he only headhunts. But if you go back and watch his LFA fights, he actually works the body very well. He has nice entries into his takedowns, and when he gets you down on the ground, he's actually more dangerous than he is on the feet, surprisingly. He has 9 subs and only 1 KO, but don't let that 1 KO fool you. He has a lot of power on the feet. He just has better jiu-jitsu. Lazez's takedown defense will be tested in this fight. As of right now, it sits at 71%, which is pretty good. Moisés has a nice, fast jab. He has a sharp left hook. He also works the body very well. He has nice step-in elbows. And this fight, I went back and forth a bit on this one. I think it's going to be close. So for me, I'm going dogger pass. Dog number 3. I know once again, it seems like I'm chasing them dogs, but hey, Gabriel Bonfim is making his UFC debut. Lazez has fought the better competition and has been in the UFC for, 2 or 3 fights now, and I think Lazez is pretty good here. I don't know if I'm going to get to it betting-wise, but the pick is Lazez.
I have no bets on this fight. I might look at some props to see the numbers when those props come out.
The over looks good.
Yeah, the over looks good. I agree. All right, let's move on up to the next fight, which is finally the main card for UFC 283, Teixeira versus Hill. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this video, share this video. Tell everyone you know about CJP UFC Bets. The next fight on the main card, scheduled in the men's welterweight division, we have Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. Gilbert Burns, he's 20-5, 36 years old, 5'10", with a 71-inch reach. Then we have Neil Magny, 27-9, 35 years old, 6'3", with a 80-inch reach. For Gilbert Burns, he's got very good grappling with good striking and a very solid amount of KO power. He is pretty fast on the feet with a good chin, and he has decent takedowns. He's got good leg kicks with nice submissions as well, and he also is very tough, durable, and he can definitely hang with the best of them in this division. For Neil Magny, he is a very long and rangy fighter. He has a 6-inch height advantage and a 9-inch reach advantage in this fight. He's got solid long jabs with pretty good grappling. He's got nice takedowns with a okay takedown defense. Not to mention, he has sneaky submissions and he is very tough himself. Very good cardio, and I've never seen the guy tired or quit in his fights. Ultimately, though, I'm going with Gilbert Burns by decision. I do not see him getting the knockout here like most people think he is. And I think the line is a little bit over-exaggerated. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, Neil Magny, as you said, he's going to have a 9-inch reach advantage here, and he uses his range well. He has a long jab. He has some good kicks. And Gilbert Burns only shows a 47% takedown defense, but he did pretty good. His takedown defense looked pretty good against Khamzat Chimaev, which we all know how good he is. And when he gets taken down, he has a good get-up game, and he also is a dangerous Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Magny, he usually goes for takedowns, which I don't think he'll get in this fight, and I don't even know if he wants to go to the ground with Burns here. On the feet, Burns has strong leg kicks, which I think he should utilize here in this fight, because Magny's got them long, skinny legs. That calf kick should be there all night. He has a big overhand right. And I think this fight's going to be close-ish. I am going to go with Burns. I won't be adding Burns to my parlays, especially at that number. It's way too wide, like you said. It's Burns by decision or KO. I can honestly see him getting the KO because we've seen Magny rocked a bit in his past few fights.
But when was the last time you see him KO'd?
I don't know if has he ever been KO'd?
I don't think so. I'm not in UFC that I don't remember.
Let me. I have it
He's
up right
probably
here.
have been KO'd maybe in the past, but
He got knocked out by Santiago Ponzinibbio. He got knocked out by some dude named Larkin, and he got choked out a few times too.
what
He's
about
actually, yeah,
when's
he's
the
actually
last
been
time he's
knocked
been
out.
knocked out?
Last time he was knocked out was against Santiago Ponzinibbio, which was back in 2018.
Not too long ago, but
But if you go back and watch that Max Griffin fight, Griffin actually had Magny rocked at one point in that first round, and I don't think he hits nearly as hard as Burns does. So it should be interesting. I
yeah,
don't know if I'm actually taking the KO prop, but I am going Burns.
yeah, definitely Burns on this fight for sure, but too wide to bet.
100%.
Let's move on up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled in the women's flyweight division, we have Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy. Jessica Andrade, she's 23-9, 31 years old, 5'1" with a 62-inch reach. Then we have Lauren Murphy. She's 16-5, 39 years old, 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. For Lauren Murphy, she has a gritty, scrappy style who has nice clinches and pretty solid wrestling. She has okay striking, but she is always in your face with a decent amount of volume. She also has pretty solid cardio with decent takedowns. She's very tough, very durable, and she has that dog in her who will fight for your money until the very end of the bell. For Jessica Andrade, she's got pretty good striking with a ton of KO power who can put your lights out at any moment. She has decent takedowns with solid top control and a good ground and pound as well. She also has a high amount of volume on the feet and decent takedown defense, sitting at 66%. She is very tough, but does kind of gas out throughout the fight. If she catches you with one of her big bombs, though, she will put your lights out and you're going night night. And that's why I'm going with Jessica Andrade inside the distance in this fight. I think she gets it done. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, speaking of lines that are too wide, right? We got Jessica Andrade at a minus 460. That's a bit steep for me, but we got Lauren Murphy. She has pretty good boxing. She got decent volume, but she just doesn't have much power. She doesn't throw many kicks at all. She's basically just headhunting with her weak punches. Um, she doesn't have good wrestling, but she'll try to like bully you to the ground with her strength. But I just don't think that'll work against someone as strong as Jessica Andrade. Andrade has strong leg kicks. She has a ton of power in both hands. Andrade should walk Murphy down, and if Murphy wants to engage in a war, then Andrade will definitely have the more power in that. And she'll most likely Andrade will have the more eye-catching power punches to the judges compared to Murphy's volume. I think this fight is pretty straightforward. Andrade should get it done by KO or decision.
I
Pick
agree, man.
Andrade. Yeah.
I agree. Let's go up to the next fight on the card. Scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division, we have Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. Paul Craig, he is 16-5, 35 years old, 6'3", with a 76-inch reach. Then we have Johnny Walker. He is 19-7, 30 years old, 6'6", with a 82-inch reach. For Paul Craig, he has a high level amount of grappling with very nice submission skills. He's got very good BJJ skills with a solid ground game. He does have decent takedowns with a terrible takedown accuracy and an okay takedown defense sitting at 50%. And if he gets you to the ground, you're probably in trouble because that's where he shines. He gets those submissions, man, and if he gets you to the ground, he might tap you out there. But that's basically his only game plan, and the only thing he offers. He's no real threat on the feet. For Johnny Walker, he's got pretty decent striking and is a very unorthodox, fast, and he's wild at times with creative offense such as spinning attacks and jumping knees. He's got solid KO power with decent submissions, and he has a nice 6-inch reach advantage in this fight, which should come into play here. And that's why I'm going with Johnny Walker by knockout in this fight. What do you have, bro?
Yeah, honestly, I won't spend too much time on this fight. We all know what Paul Craig wants to do. He wants to get the fight on the ground so he can use his BJJ to sub you. He'll do whatever he can to get the fight on the ground, including pulling guard. He doesn't have good wrestling. His takedown accuracy sits at 20%. Johnny Walker's takedown defense is only 57%, but he should be able to stuff those weak shots from Craig and keep it on the feet. And when it's on the feet, then we all know how dangerous Johnny Walker is. I think Johnny Walker gets the KO probably first round. The under is, in most Paul Craig fights, the under is the bet.
There you go, folks. We're on it again on the same page. Johnny Walker by knockout, so make sure to play that on your slips. Let's move on up to the next fight on the card, which is the co-main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. And before we do the breakdown, make sure to subscribe. CJP UFC Bets, here to give you free bets, free picks for each and every single UFC Fight Night and UFC pay-per-views. So make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. This is it, folks. This is history. For the first time ever in the UFC, 4 fights between each other. The first tetralogy in UFC history. Tetralogy is a word, ladies and gentlemen. It means 4.
That's news to me. Look at you, the dictionary.
So the co-main event scheduled in the men's flyweight division for the UFC Flyweight Championship of the World. We have Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno for the 4th time ever. For Deiveson Figueiredo, he's 21-2, 35 years old, 5'5", with a 68-inch reach. Then we have Brandon Moreno, 20-6, 29 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. And ladies and gentlemen, I expect this to be another wild, fun fight, just like the previous 3. For Figueiredo, this guy is pretty solid anywhere the fight goes. He's very good at creating firefights with pretty solid BJJ skills. He is very good off his back with a really good get-up game. He has very good striking with a solid amount of KO power. Not to mention, he does have decent takedowns, but his only flaw that I see is his cardio. He does get tired throughout the fight. For Brandon Moreno, he sets a very good pace with a solid amount of volume on the feet and never stops moving. He's got a very solid chin and pretty decent takedowns himself. He does have a respectable takedown defense sitting at 68%, and he is just very tough, so durable. Just one of those junkyard dogs that will always come out there and give you all he's got, with sneaky KO power and decent submissions to go with it. I love this fight, but I have to go with Deiveson Figueiredo inside the distance. I do have a bet on this fight. Who do you have, bro?
Yeah, we got Brandon Moreno, who used to train at Glory MMA and Fitness with James Krause, and we all know what happened there. James Krause got caught up in some shit, and all of his fighters can't fight in the UFC unless they leave his gym. So Moreno left, and he went to Extreme Couture. The thing is, did he have time to click with his new coaches and his training partners? Like, was it enough time for this fight camp for him? Now, we have back-to-back-to-back-to-back fights for Moreno and Figgy. First time this has ever happened. I am looking forward to this fight as much as the first time they fought. We went to a majority draw, to Moreno subbing Figgy, which was crazy, to Figgy pulling off that decision win. Figgy has strong leg kicks. He's got power in both hands, along with good output, especially in that third fight where he actually outstruck Moreno 137 significant strikes to 132. Now, I know it's only a 5 significant strike difference. I just thought it was impressive that he outstruck Moreno. Both guys have similar hand speed. Both guys go for takedowns, but in this fourth fight, I honestly don't think either guy is going to have much success in the grappling department. This fight, it's a pick'em for a reason. It's going to be a super close fight. And look, my heart wants Moreno to win just because I like him as a person and I like him as a fighter. But I got to go with Figgy. I got to go with Deiveson Figueiredo to get this win either by knockout or decision.
Yeah, I agree, man. I like Moreno. My heart says Moreno, but
Yep.
my gut and my mind says Davison Figueiredo, and I think he gets it done inside the distance, man. Just because they've been fighting together for 3 fights, so they know each other very well. They know their styles very well, and I just think Figueiredo has him figured out now. So, especially with this new gym, this new camp for Moreno, I
Yeah.
just if Moreno was still at Krause's gym, I would have went with Moreno.
Yeah, because, like, who knows where Moreno's head's at with all this? Like, he had to change gyms randomly. Like, that might have been the middle of fight camp for him. I wonder if it was. That'd be interesting to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig into some MMA junkie after this.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on up to the main event of the evening. It is time
It's time.
for the main event, UFC 283. But before the breakdown, as you already know, make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, comment on this video, like this video, join us on TikTok, join us on Twitter, Instagram, CJP UFC Bets coming in hot for 2023. The main event of the evening, scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division for the vacant UFC light heavyweight championship of the world. We have Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill. Glover Teixeira, he's 33-8, 43 years old, 6'2", with a 76-inch reach. Then we have Jamal Hill, 11-1, 31 years old, 6'4", with a 69-inch reach. This should be a fun fight, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait. For Glover Teixeira, he's a true UFC veteran, the former UFC light heavyweight champion. And with that being said, he has very good striking with a very nice high tight guard, so it's a bit hard to hit him. He's got very solid KO power with good combinations and very nice takedowns. He does have pretty good wrestling and grappling, not to mention he does have the home field advantage here in Brazil. And he has a BJJ black belt as well. So he's just a very tough fighter with a good chin and decent cardio. For Jamal Hill, he's got very solid striking with a ton of KO power in his hands. He sets a high pace with very high volume on the feet. He does have very nice boxing with very good leg kicks. He also has a decent takedown defense sitting at 65%, and he's going to need that in this fight. Definitely need that in this fight. And I think he will get tired later in the rounds. And he's going to give up his neck. And that's why I'm going with Glover Teixeira by submission in this fight. I had to do my tape. Pre-tape, I did pick Jamal Hill. But once I dug into tape, bro, I had to go with Glover Teixeira just because Jamal Hill has been taken down by lesser talent in the UFC. No disrespect to those guys, but Glover Teixeira is on a different level. So I'm going with Glover Teixeira. Give me Glover all day by submission. Who you have in this fight, bro?
Yeah, as soon as this fight got announced, I was all over Glover Teixeira, and then I saw him open as the dog, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me right now! This is great." So Glover, he's decent on the feet. He works the body well. He has some nice kicks. He's got some power in his right hand, but he is pretty slow. He's got a nice single leg takedown. He's got good top control, and you don't want to give up your back against Teixeira. He also has good ground and pound. And look, I know Teixeira has been knocked out in the past, but he showed off a very good chin in that Yuri fight. He hit him with everything, and Glover was just right there eating them and staying in his face. I thought that was insane. Also, let me just say, what a fucking war Yuri versus Teixeira was. That fight was nuts. Fight of the year. Jamahal Hill, he shows a 65% takedown defense. He faced 20 attempts from Thiago Santos, and he stopped 14 of them. But guys, you got to remember, this is Santos. Santos, that's not his game. He's not a wrestler. He's a power puncher. So the fact that he even got Hill down 6 times shows me that Teixeira should be able to get him down. Hill has some good leg kicks. He has some solid power in his hands. He's got a very nice jab and a good counter right hook. Hill will have the advantage on the feet here, but Glover's going to have a big advantage on the ground. I feel like Glover can take Hill's best shot, especially after seeing that Yuri fight. He might struggle for a bit to get Hill down, but I do think he does. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe Hill just recently, like a month ago or so, got his brown belt in BJJ. So we got a brown belt going up against a credentialed black belt in Glover Teixeira. Glover by sub all day here.
Absolutely. And I hope that when that prop drops, it's a great line, man, because I'm going to hammer it, and you guys should too. Stay tuned for our bets. Stay tuned for our dog of the card, a lock of the card, parlays at the end of this video coming up. That was our breakdown for UFC 283, Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill. 2 title fights, ladies and gentlemen, going down for UFC 283. Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo, part 4. Cannot believe that's happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for our dog of the card coming up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is CJP UFC Bets. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Make sure to share us. Join us on all of our platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, same everywhere. CJP UFC Bets, here to reveal our dog of the card. And my dog of the card for UFC 283 is Daniel Marcos, and I got him at plus 153. I did make a bet with him, and I grabbed him at that number. Daniel Marcos is my dog of the card. My dog. What about you, bro?
Man, we are on the same page with this. I loved when I found out he was plus money, and then I saw him at plus 150. And I took that immediately. I hammered it for 3 units. I might even put a little more on there because I just think, I don't think he should be the dog here. I really, really don't. I think he's one of the smartest bets on this card.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our dog of the card. And I wouldn't blame you if you put him on your slips. Dog of the card, Daniel Marcos. And now to reveal our lock of the card coming up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Here is CJP UFC Bets. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, share this video, turn on those notifications so you can see all of our free content, free bets, free picks right here on this channel. Here to reveal our lock of the card for UFC 283. My lock of the card, and I cannot believe this number, ladies and gentlemen. My lock of the card is RoboCop, Gregory Rodrigues. I got him at minus 330. Who do you have, bro, as lock of the card?
And same thing again. Like, I swear we didn't plan this at all. This is just a coincidence. My lock of the card is also RoboCop, minus 330. I was shocked, to be honest. I thought he was going to be minus 500, minus 600, something like that. So, honestly, RoboCop might be the parlay piece of the week.
Absolutely. And here's our bets. Here is our bets for UFC 283. So don't go away. Don't stop the video. My bet so far for UFC 283, I have Daniel Marcos, straight up money line bet, plus 153. Nicolas Dalby, straight up moneyline bet, minus 125. Davison Figueiredo, straight up moneyline bet, minus 110. Glover Teixeira, straight up moneyline bet at plus 100. My parlays so far are Gabriel Bonfim with Cody Stamann at plus 102. Over 1.5 Teixeira Hill fight with Potieria at plus 157. That is my bet so far. What about you, bro?
Yeah, I took Glover Teixeira immediately. I got him at plus 115. He is now minus 105. And then I also have a parlay. I got the under 2.5 rounds from last night, Flick versus Johnson, which already cashed, and I parlayed that with the under 1.5 in McKinney Bonfim fights, and I got that at plus 142.
That's a great line.
Yeah, I couldn't pass that up once I saw it. And then I took my dog of the card, Daniel Marcos, at plus 150. And I also threw together a 4-team parlay that I am looking for right now. Where did it go? My 4-team parlay. Now, look, I know I said I wasn't going to have a bet on Nunes, but I decided to throw her in this parlay because I feel like she's going to win. And I wanted to, as you say, juice it up a little bit.
Speaking of juice it up, I do have a juice it up parlay just in case people were interested. Just a little fun parlay bet that I probably won't track. But for those people that are interested, juice it up parlay. I got Jailton Almeida, Gilbert Burns, Jessica Andrade, and Nunes at plus 109. Let's go.
Wow, we have
parlay.
That's actually crazy. We have just about the same parlay. So this is crazy. I got my chalky parlay here. I got Josie and Nunes with Gilbert Burns, with Jailton Almeida, and then my 4th leg is Glover Teixeira and Jamal Hill. Fight does not go the distance.
There you go, folks.
Go ahead. Sorry. I got those at plus 115.
There you go, folks. Those are all of our bets, all of our picks, our dog of the card, our lock of the card. Make sure to join us next week, next Sunday, for our next breakdown, January 22nd. I do believe that UFC is another week break, unfortunately. Why are they doing this to us? Why are they torturing us after a 4-week layoff?
We just got back and they're already making us wait again. But the good thing is we have an 11 weeks in a row after this break.
And we'll be here each and every single Sunday for UFC breakdowns and predictions. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to join us, like us, and do what you have to do to spread the word. Make sure to subscribe because once we reach 300 subscribers, I'll give away a $250 gift card. Enter the contest, follow the rules, and you're in. Thank you for joining us right here on CJP UFC Bets. We're out of here.